requirements of our clients. We always offer a friendly, listening ear and sympathetic attitude. We've worked with thousands of people all across the UK in all areas of personal legal services. We have received great feedback, reviews from our clients. We are located at Solicitors in Tottenham on the 4th floor of the Anna House, right on top of the Victoria Line train station, for your utmost convenience. We have a friendly office and provide all of the refreshments necessary while you wait to see a lawyer. We are dedicated to our clients and have a successful record of serving our clients. Solicitors of England and Wales are of high quality and are bound by the highest professional standards. We are officers of the court and are bound by standards of integrity, competence, and conduct as part of our responsibility to uphold the rule of law. Our solicitors and lawyers care about your case and are committed to providing the best possible service to you in the most considerate and careful manner. We hold 2 Law Society quality marks. Law Society Accreditation House to demonstrate that we have attained the requisite standard in the area of law and have the requisite expertise. BWF Solicitors are here to help you with your legal services when you need us.
Victon Estates provides professional and reliable service to landlords, investors and tenants. Our mission is to ethically and honestly serve our clients. We won't make promises we cannot keep, rather. We present a clear picture of the reality we can offer. We are here to help you with long and short-term let, property management, cash buyers for quick sales, stop repossession, and mortgage arrears. For all your property needs, look no further. Visit us at www.victonestates.co.uk or call us on 07448619711. Victon Estates, your property is our pride.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all of you watching us from all over the world. You are welcome to Heritage TV, hanging out with Vicky. Today's legal hour, we have our solicitor firm, BWF Solicitors, a representative in the person of lawyer Eunice Achampong, who today will be discussing with us, we'll be focusing on those who want to come to the UK to study, live, and work. So, Lawyer Eunice, you are welcome. And may I also apologize to our viewers for the slight late to the start of the show. My sincere apologies. Lawyer Eunice, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you. I am doing well. Thank you. You've had a busy morning, I can see.
I know. Yes, yes, I did. But we thank God we are here now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hope your week has been good.
Yeah, I have. If I may ask, why focus on today's topic, coming to work, live, and stay in the UK?
I think that a lot of people have an interest in traveling all over the world. And so today I was thinking, why not do something that will get people interested or get people to be aware about the ways that they can come to the UK to either study or to work and then live here. Because of course, you can't just come here without a purpose. And so most people would usually want to travel somewhere else for different reasons, for different purposes. And one of the reasons why they would want to travel elsewhere is for work or for a different, should I say, outlook. Or maybe they want to have a change in their lifestyle or whatever it is that they have purpose. So I decided, let's focus on this topic because sometimes you have questions, and now that we are broadcasting all over the world, you often have people from different parts of the world who call and ask these questions. So it is better that we create a platform where they can obviously continue to ask the questions that are really pressing on them, and then also answer those questions for them as best as we can using the law. Yeah.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. So, Eunice, what are the routes through which a person can come and study, live, and work in the United Kingdom?
Okay, so I'll break them down in the categories that we have. So when we say that somebody would want to come and live or study or work in the UK, you have our immigration rules, and most people who would apply to come and live here in the UK would have to apply for an eligible route under our immigration rules. And so under our immigration rules, you have different routes available, including those for family members as well who may have other family members living here in the UK. But specifically for today, we'll be looking at our points-based system and what the government have said they would introduce as a result of Brexit, and the fact that once they've put non-EU nationals and other third country nationals on the same footing, then it means that as much as possible, if you want to come and live here, then you should be able to meet their requirements under our points-based system, which is in the immigration rules. And so, of course, as of 1st January 2021, we have different routes available on our points-based system. For those who want to come and study, you have the child student route for those that are between the ages of 4 to 17. Then you have the student route for those that are 18 and onwards. And then you also have those that can apply for their dependents or partners to come and live with them. So those are people that have studied a postgraduate course or are coming to study a postgraduate course. They are the ones that are eligible to apply for their dependent children and spouses to come and join them in the UK. And then, of course, you have people who want to come and work. So maybe they're not necessarily looking for a professional job like a lawyer or an accountant, but you have so many hundreds of jobs under our UK visas and immigration occupation list, and they have different job lists. So you have even people that are farmers on that list. You have people that are also teachers on that list. You have people that are chefs. You have even people that are plumbers or electricians or mechanics on that list of those that are looking to come and work in the UK. So with all of this, of course, you should be able to apply for a job where a vacancy has been offered. And then if you are granted an offer for that job, you will also have to meet other requirements to be able to apply as a skilled worker or as a seasonal worker to come and work in the UK. And so, of course, also applying for a dependent child or a dependent spouse to also join you in the UK whilst you're here. You can also do so with the skilled worker visa that you will be granted. And I think that most people should also acknowledge the fact that most of these applications have different eligibility requirements, and therefore you need to pay attention to what you need to have in order to apply for a specific job. So for instance, if I was applying as a nurse will be somebody who will be listed under the shortage occupation list rather than just the general work occupation list. And so they have different requirements, and they can meet the eligible 70 points quicker than maybe somebody else who will be working as a chef, for instance. So all these routes obviously have their own requirements that need to need to be met to be able to make those applications. And of course, if you end up staying here for that period of time for which they will grant to you, you can later on apply for settlement after a 5-year period on your skilled worker visa, which will be granted to you. And then, of course, apply for your family members to be granted settlement or indefinite leave to remain as well. Unlike those that are students who cannot apply for settlement or indefinite leave to remain, those that come as skilled workers after a 5-year period can apply for settlement or indefinite leave to remain. So you have these different routes that are available. And then you also have people who obviously, like I said before, may have other family members here, such as a spouse or a child who is already settled here in the UK, and then they would want to come and join them. And so that in itself will let the person meet other requirements under our Appendix FM of the immigration rules to come and live here in the UK. But specifically today, we're focusing on the points-based system route. So looking at the student route, looking at the child student route, looking at someone who can apply as a skilled worker to come and live and work in the UK. So yes, these are the different routes that the government have also put into play since the 1st of January 2021.
Okay, all right. And may I please remind those who are joining, in this discussion, if you want to contribute to the program, we would like to hear from you. You can send all your questions or contributions to Heritage TV Corporate. We have a studio line as well on 0203 983 3553. You can call us and ask your question and give us your contribution. We are also streaming live on BWF Solicitors Facebook platform. So you have these two platforms that you can send all your questions, and I'll be able to, myself and Lawyer Eunice will be able to pick those questions up and, go through them. So please share for all your friends and loved ones, families to tune in to listen and also contribute. Yes, so yeah, that's it. Well, Eunice, when it comes, I heard you saying with the students. Correct me if I'm wrong. With the students, when you finish your duration of study, you do have no option to settle. Am I right?
Yes.
You have to return back to your country.
Yes. And so that's why the last time, I think when we were discussing the graduate route that will be coming this July, so from the 1st of July 2021, the government has decided to open up that graduate route for those that have come to study in the UK and have completed their course of study. So they are giving them an extension of at least 2 years. And then those that have completed PhD courses, an extension of 3 years. And so they can then switch to any other route, such as a worker route, whilst they are on that 2-year extension. So unfortunately, the student route does not lead to settlement like the skilled worker route does. But of course, once you've been able to attain 10 years lawful residence in the UK, you can then apply for settlement in the UK.
Okay. Laura Eunice, when it comes to documentation, is it same type of documentation across board for those who want to work, live, and study?
Of course not. So, like I was saying, there's different eligibility requirements for each and every route. So, for instance, if I was applying as a student and I want to obviously do a course. Let's say I wanted to do a science course, biochemistry or something. So I want to study biochemistry in one of the London universities. I mean, you could choose any university of your choice. in London or outside London. But I want to study biochemistry in the London University. And with that, of course, when I'm making the application, all valid applications, for any application to be valid, you should be able to meet certain requirements. And the first requirement is that you pay the application fee and the IHS. So you have the application fee that has to be paid, and then you also have the IHS fee, which is, I think, £624 for each year. And then you also have to be able to put forward or enroll your biometrics. So if you have made application properly online, then you obviously have to book for a biometric appointment where you will have your fingerprints taken and a photograph also taken. And then at the appointment, you should have a valid passport that is showing your identity and your nationality. So the first document you present is your passport, to be able to show that, of course, you have the right evidence to show that this is your nationality. So let's say I'm Ghanaian and my passport is a Ghanaian passport. It shows my identity, and then it also shows my nationality as well. And then, of course, you should be able to show the required evidence needed. So if I'm a student and I'm applying for that student visa, I should be able to show that, of course, I've got the certificate of acceptance of study from the proper university. So if the appropriate university has offered me the place, that certificate of sponsorship should be one of the things that I would be using as evidence. And then also you should be able to show that you meet the required maintenance requirements. So if they are saying to you that you should have a certain amount in your account for at least a 9-month period, then your bank statements will be the next form of evidence. So if it's your parents that are sponsoring you, obviously, then you provide the bank statements for whoever is sponsoring you for that period of time. So your bank statements or your parents' bank statements will be another form of evidence to show that you are able to meet the maintenance requirement. And then, of course, if you are saying that you are somebody who speaks English, because they don't just allow anybody to make that application. So you have to be able to meet the English language requirement as well. And so that means that you should have an English language requirement of at least a level B1. Some people who may already have an undergraduate degree will have to apply for NARIC certification to see if they meet that standard. Otherwise, you have English language test centers all over the world, and that would mean that you will have to take the test at a level B1 to be able to meet that requirement. So that certificate will be another form of evidence that you would use as well. And then if you're coming from a country where they need you to screen for tuberculosis, you will also have to provide that medical certificate to say that you are somebody who is free from tuberculosis. So usually that certificate is valid for 6 months. And then, of course, if you are saying that you are somebody who is able to make the application with your dependent children, so maybe you've applied and you are doing a postgraduate course and you are applying with your spouse and your child, then you should be able to show that that person who is your spouse is your spouse. And so your marriage certificate definitely will come into play. Bank statements to show that they too will be able to meet the maintenance requirement for the time period. And then, of course, your child's birth certificate. So things like that will be the things that you will be showing if you were making such an application as a student. So that's just specifically as a student. And then for a worker, you also have requirements for somebody who, for instance, will be coming here as, let's say, I'm applying to come as a nurse. And then, of course, you want to be able to meet the requirements. And so first thing first, you have to be able to show that you have a certificate of sponsorship from the required institution. So it has to be an institution that can offer you a job and is listed on the sponsor's license as one of those institutions that can offer you a place or a job. And then, of course, you have to be able to show that you meet the appropriate skill level. So if, for instance, you undertook a course that now qualifies you as a nurse wherever you are, you will provide that documentation as well. You will also provide documentation to show that, of course, you've been able to meet that English language requirement, or if that institution itself has assessed you to be able to meet that English language requirement, they will write it on that certificate of sponsorship as well. And then, of course, before you're paid your monthly pay, most skilled workers will need to be able to show that they will be able to maintain themselves for that period of time before their pay comes in. And so your bank statements will be necessary to show that you are able to show for at least the 1 month period before you make the application that you have at least £1,270 in your account to maintain you for that period of time, which is a month before your pay comes in. And also you will need to show that as much as possible, you have this criminal record. So there's this, what do you call it, requirement that you have to be able to show that you meet their requirement that you haven't committed any criminal offenses. And so one of the requirements is also that you don't, you are not somebody who will be unsuitable to come and live in the UK. So your conduct or your behavior is conducive to the public. So all of these things come into play, and that's why they need that certificate of criminal record to show that you haven't committed any criminal offenses whatsoever. And so all of these things come into play. So as and when you're making these applications, you will need to be able to provide the necessary documentation to be able to also make the application as well. And not forgetting the tuberculosis medical certificate if you are from a country where you are listed to be prone to tuberculosis. So yes, you will have all of these documents to provide as and when needed in terms of making a valid application. Yeah.
Yes, Eunice. Oh dear, questions have started coming in. Yes, Amina is saying we are a family of 4 and have been thinking of moving to the UK, especially because we want the children to have a change of environment after past experiences. My husband is a businessman and earns more than enough to pay for the children's fees. How can we go ahead and apply for the children to be educated in the UK?
Okay, so you have somebody who is saying that they're a family of 4, so I'm assuming that the children are 2, and therefore she wants to apply for the children to come and live in the UK. So you have, under our points-based system, the child student route. So this is not the general student route, this is the child student route that is available to children who are between the ages of 4 to 17. And so in her case, she says her children are 10 and 13. So that's fair enough. And so in this case, you have a child or children who would want to apply for a child student visa. And when you look at the appendix child student visa in our immigration rules, you are required to show that you are within the age limit, so you are under 18, and that you have applied to an independent school. So an independent school that has confirmed that they will offer you a place. And so usually this is by way of a certificate of acceptance of study. And once you are given that certificate of acceptance of study, that also gives you 50 points, because you need 70 points to be able to say that you are eligible to apply to that route. So once they've applied to an independent school, which is also a licensed sponsor for the UKVI, they would be given that certificate of acceptance of study, which most people will call a CAS. And so once that child or the children have been given that CAS, then they can go on and say that they meet the maintenance requirement. And so the maintenance requirement offers you another 20 points. That in itself means that the parent of the child should be able to show that if they are coming to live with this child whilst they are in the UK, they can meet that maintenance requirement of the tuition fee. So let's say the tuition fee for the school for that year alone is £15,000. So you have £15,000 in your account, and in addition to that, you have £1,560 for every month for the next 9 months. If you calculate just 1,560 for every month for the next 9 months, that is just over £14,000. So that means that you should have over about £30,000 in your account just for that year to be able to show that you are definitely somebody who is able to bring that child, and that's for just one child. Let me just say, for an additional child, you have to pay an additional 650. So you need to add 650 to the 1,560 I mentioned earlier. So of course, you need to be able to show that you'll be able to pay for the tuition and you'll be able to pay for the maintenance whilst living here in the UK. If you have that, then your 70 points is right on, and you can make the application for the children and yourself. And then usually, if you are making the application for yourself, you're making it together with the child's application, but those are separate applications that need to be made online. So you're making the application to say that you are joining your child who is under the age of 12. So there's an age limit. The child that you are applying to come and live with has to be under the age of 12. So the child who is 13 may be coming to study, but unfortunately, the parent cannot rely on that child. The parent can only rely on the child who is under 10. And so therefore, if they are making the application, they are making the application relying on the fact that the child who is under 10 is the child that they are coming to, should I say, care for whilst here in the UK. And so, of course, they can make that application together, and then once they are granted, so let's say they are coming to, a child who is 10 is coming to primary school. So let's say they are coming to year 5, and if the certificate of acceptance of studies says that they would need the visa for a 2-year period, because maybe they have to go through year 5 and year 6, so they will need it for a 2-year period, then obviously the visa will be granted for that specific period on the CAS. For the child who is 13, of course, it will be a child who is going into secondary school, and so usually secondary school is for 5 years. If they put a 5-year period on there, of course, the UKVI will grant a visa for that period, or even for 6 years, up to a period of 6 years for that particular child. So, of course, the parent can make the application with the children and then come and live here in the UK and care for that child who is under the age of 12. And then, of course, do what they need to do to be able to make sure that the child is safe and sound. There's also other options. If they, for any reason, they cannot stay after the child is 12, they can look for a relative or a person who can take care of the child whilst they are absent from the UK. Or for children who are over the age of 15, which is 16 and above, they can live independently, so they can take care of themselves. Yeah.
All right. And there's a second part to this question. She's saying, is it possible that both parents come with a child?
Unfortunately, no. So one of the requirements under a parent applying to join a child or to be with this child who is under 12 is that the other parent cannot be in the UK or cannot be applying to live in the UK. So unfortunately, only one parent is allowed to come and live with all the children, and is I think the whole intention behind it live here in the, so they try and prevent they try and prevent that from happening. And so I think that is the intention behind it, that of course only one parent can come so that the other parent is elsewhere. Otherwise, if there's both parents, the likelihood of you making the UK your permanent home is very very strong.
I'm getting all right, well noted. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, you just tuned in. This is the Legal Hour Show with BWF Solicitors, and today we're talking about coming to the UK to study, live, or work. And with me is a seasoned lawyer from BWF Solicitors. She's also one of the partners of BWF Solicitors, Mrs. Eunice Achampon. She's here to take us through this topic. You are free to send us your questions, and if you've got any queries, please feel free. We are streaming live on 2 platforms, Heritage TV and BWF Solicitors live on Facebook. So whichever platform, if you send your questions, myself and Lawyer Eunice will be able to intercept the questions and discuss it or answer the questions for you. Lawyer Eunice, I've got another question here from what's the name? Bola, if I mentioned it right. Okay. In June last year, I completed secondary school and I would like to apply for a student visa to study an undergraduate course in civil engineering at any university which offers my course. What are the requirements and how much will I need? I think you've already touched on the requirements, but if you could just brush through it.
Okay.
And also the how much.
How much? Yes. So there's 2 questions in one. So he says that how would you go about making this application? So I'm pretty sure that maybe he might have heard me making some comments in regards to the eligibility. So he's trying to make an application to come as a student. So the student route under our appendix, so we have appendix student, and one of the eligibility requirements is that the person should show that they are over the age of 18 or 18 and above. Of course, if they are between 16 and 17, they can still make the application if they are independent. So if they've made the application because they are maybe slightly under the age of 18, as long as they're able to show that they have also got a certificate of acceptance of study. So like I was saying, you need 70 points and you need that certificate of acceptance of study to be able to make the first 50. So once you've been granted by any eligible university, so the university should be a university that is a licensed sponsor. So it has to have a sponsor which has been granted to it by the UKVI, which is the UK Visas and Immigration. And then that university should be able to offer you the course that you say you want to come and study. And this will all be listed on the CAS. So it will say the course you're about to study, the duration of the course, the name of the university, its reference number, how much you will need to pay as tuition for the course if you're going to obviously be there for a long period of time, the maintenance you need if you're asking for student accommodation. So it lists a whole list of things on that CAS. So once you've been offered a place, you will be granted a CAS. And once you are given a CAS, you need to meet the other two requirements, which is that you are able to show that you will be able to maintain yourself whilst living here. So it means that, of course, you should also be able to show by way of your bank statements, you should be able to show that you'll be able to pay the tuition fee and that you'll be able to maintain yourself for that period of time. And usually they want to see that you have a maintenance of at least £1,270 for every month if you are studying in a university in the UK. If it's outside of London, so a university in London, and then if it's a university outside of London, it's about £1,020 that you need to show that you have every month for the next 9 months. So of course, if you have the tuition fee and then you have this maintenance for every month for the next 9 months, then you know that you are able to meet the maintenance requirement, which will score you another 10 points. And you need another 10 points from the fact that you show that you meet language requirements. They must make that people applying can speak and read and understand English. So, of course, if you're in the UK and you've done an undergraduate course or higher course and you have generic confirmation make that application knowing which if then that would mean that you have to take thinking and listening exam. One of the exams taken out of the UK to show that you're level B1 in order to get at 10 points. Once you've been able to your 70 points, that would mean that of course you can make the application. Like I said before, if you are from a country where you need screen for the medical certificate as well to show that you have screened and you're free from tuberculosis. And then also you need to be able to make sure that you are providing them with all the documentation and your biometrics as well after you've made the online application, including your passport, to you to bring once you the online application. So that's another thing about this application process. They will give you the required documentation you need to also send as part of your application. Or you haven't ever come into the UK where you've been given a different, but as long as you meet the eligibility requirements and you do not fall for any of the reasons I've just mentioned for refusal, then of course you're on the right track to making that application to apply for your civil engineering course at any university of your choice. Yeah.
Okay. Laura, you're still talking about the students. Two questions. What if along the way, let's say it's a 3-year degree course, and maybe when you go to your final year, you're struggling financially to continue the course? Is there any way you can defer the course?
Yeah.
A lady who along the way, during the course, fell pregnant.
Yeah.
And has to go on maternity and have the baby.
Yeah.
She also might need to defer. In these two scenarios, would they be in breach of the immigration rules, and how do they go about it? And in the end, would they be able to jump back on the course to complete the course, or they will have to go home? I mean, what are the options?
Okay, so in terms of the student visas that most people will be granted, so usually it will be for the duration of the course. So let's say the course is for 3 years, and then you are granted 3 years on that course, and then you obviously in that scenario something happens. So in the first scenario you gave, for one reason or the other, you have to defer because you cannot complete the course. And so you have to speak with the university, because the university is the main sponsor. And so if they have given you the go ahead that you can defer the course until the next year, then of course they would confirm that in writing to you as well. If, let's say, in your third year you have to defer and you need to apply for another student visa before the one that you have now expires, then of course, because the university is the main sponsor and you have given them reasons for why you need to defer the course, if they have accepted the reasons that you have given to them, then of course you should also make them aware that your visa will expire on so and so date. You will need to apply to extend that visa. And if they accept that you are able to go on to the course in the following year that you have said you will go and continue on the course, then of course they will grant you another CAS, which is a confirmation of acceptance of study, to say that yes, A and B happened, but they are willing to grant you a CAS for a 1 year period to complete the course. And then that would mean that you have to apply for an extension of your visa whilst here in the UK. In the second scenario, of course, if you are pregnant, it will be the same. So you will have to, of course, seek that acceptance from the university, first of all, to say that, yes, I am pregnant, I cannot continue on the course. If they do accept that you can defer your entry to the following year, then of course you let them know when your visa is expiring, and if they can offer you another CAS for whichever period of time left for your study, and then you make that application for an extension. And the good thing is that once you are able to meet the requirements the first time, when you're making any subsequent extension applications, they don't really ask for evidence to meet the other maintenance requirements. So that's a good thing about this, should I say, points-based system.
Oh, okay. So with the student who fell pregnant, will she need a confirmation letter from the GP as well to the school?
Of course. Yeah, so definitely you need to show them evidence if you are pregnant. And I think most students in any case will show is at the point where they are starting to show that they will be seeking for a deferred entry. So of course, if you are starting to show and you have the evidence to say that this is my due date, so everybody who is pregnant in the UK would usually be given so it will show all of the details in due date and date. So once you them the required evidence, you cannot continue on the course. You need a bit of a break to get back into the rhythm of things, because you have a baby. Then of course they would have to look at it. Accept that you defer your course, then then you know that they can grant you another CAS fee to make that.
So do you think there's
agree to the reasons you've given them to defer your course? So let's say for the first scenario that you were giving me, I don't know for whichever reason that person wants to defer their course. So if, for instance, maybe it could be that, like I was saying, with subsequent ones, they don't even require you to show that you're able to meet the financial requirement. So that's the good thing, because you don't even need to show that you meet the financial requirement, so that's fine. And the English language requirement, if you met it the first time, definitely you're going to meet it the second time round. So the only issue would be you not being given a CAS. So if the school does not agree to the reasons that you have given about the deferred entry, then unfortunately that will put you in a very tight corner.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's the name. This was friends and family. What do I need to apply for a work visa?
Okay. So you have somebody who is looking to apply as a teacher. I'll explain this in two parts. So let's say that this person has come here previous times and is saying that they now want to come and live here. She didn't explain what kind of family members she has here, but if she did have a family member like a partner, or she did have a child or children here in the UK who are British or settled, then of course she could apply to join the spouse here in the UK or the partner here in the UK through Appendix FM. So she'll be coming to live here as the partner of a person who is settled or British. So she will need to show that she's in a genuine and subsisting relationship with this person. And then, of course, she will need to show that she can meet the English language requirement. She will also need to show that her spouse or partner who is here in the UK can meet the financial requirement of 18,600 a year. And then obviously need to take the tuberculosis medical certificate as well. So if those requirements are met, then she can join her partner or her spouse here in the UK and then come and work as well. So that will give her the opportunity to come and also work as a teacher if she wanted to. But in the case where it is, let's say, an auntie or some cousins that are living here in the UK, then the other route would be that she has to apply under the skilled worker route. So under our appendix skilled worker, you can apply if the job that you are applying for is on the occupation list, then of course that in itself will give you the warranty to also make an application to whichever institution. So it has to be an educational institution that has a license as a sponsor. So if you are able to show that you are a licensed sponsor institution, and this person who is making the application as a teacher is able to find any vacancies. So it has to be a vacancy that has been advertised for at least a 28-day period for people who are in the UK, and if they have no eligible persons within the UK, somebody who can apply, somebody outside the UK can apply to that role. So if this person is given the job because they've made the application and they are able to show that they can do the job, then of course they can make the application knowing that they will be granted a certificate of sponsorship. So once the institution has given to them a certificate of sponsorship, that in itself is 20 points. So they are saying that, yes, we are willing to offer you the job as a teacher at so-and-so school. And it has to be for a secondary education level onwards. So unfortunately, it doesn't include nursery and primary education, but from secondary school onwards, you can say that you are making the application as a teacher. And then, of course, once you have received confirmation of sponsorship or a certificate of sponsorship, you need to also show that the job which you are being given or you have been offered, you meet the required or appropriate skill level. So if you're applying to come as a teacher in the UK, you have to do a PGC course, and that's for people who would want to be teachers. For people coming outside of the UK, there are different qualifications that they would need to get to show that they are able to qualify as teachers. And so if they are able to meet that required skill level 3 or upwards, then of course they know that they've got another 20 points in the bank, because you need to have 70 points, as I was saying. So your certificate of sponsorship is 20 points in itself. Meeting the appropriate skill level 3 and onwards is also another 20 points. And then you need to show that you can meet the English language requirement. So if you speak English and you can understand English and you can write in English, that will be evidence that you can meet another 10 points. And that one is either by way of your undergraduate degree, or you will have to complete an IELTS to show that you can meet a level B1. So that in that sense is 10 points. So once you've met these mandatory points, you have another 20 points to go. And usually that will be determined by either your salary, or whether the job that you're going for is a shortage occupation job, or whether, for instance, the salary that you are earning is maybe a bit slightly below the market rate. But because you are, for instance, a new entrant to the job market, that will boost your points to another 20 points. Or maybe because you're a PhD qualified person, that in itself will boost you. So person is coming as a teacher and she wants to be able to meet the required skill level. If she's coming as a teacher who is probably teaching maybe physics or maths, those teachers that are under the shortage occupation list. So for people like that, she will need to be able to show that she is coming to teach such a subject, and because it's a shortage occupation list job, she will get 20 points because she's able to show that the teacher or the job that she has been offered is for this specific job role, which is listed under the shortage occupation list. Or you can say that maybe she's coming to teach another subject which is not physics or maths. And so therefore, because she's coming as a secondary school teacher to teach some other subject, the money should be earning. So usually if you are earning at least 25,600 or above, that in itself will give you 20 points. If you are earning any less than that, then it means that it has to be an amount of money that meets the job market rate. So if, for instance, she's coming and then she knows that for the job that she's been given, most people who are earning in that job market will be earning about 24,000 a year. And so her employers have said to her, we'll offer you 24,000 a year. As long as it's 80% of the job market rate, then of course that will mean that she's able to meet that salary requirement, and that in itself will give her 20 points as well, because she's between 23,040 and 25,600. So the salary level has been put in 2 categories, or should I say 3. So you have those that earn between 20,040 and 23,480, and then those that earn between 23,480 to 25,600. and then those that earn 25,600 and above. So if you are between a certain category and then your job market rate or the amount of salary that is paid to somebody who is doing a similar job like yourself is also paying the same amount of money that you will be paid in a year, then of course you will be able to meet the points needed to be able to make the application. So depending on the job you're offered and the amount of salary, that will give you the extra 20 points that you need to be able to apply as a skilled worker. And so for her, once she's able to get a confirmation of sponsorship, and then she's able to get that required English language, and she's also able to show that for the job she's coming to do, which is a teacher, she meets the appropriate skill level. That in itself gives her 50 points. And then the extra 20 points will come from the amount of money she's earning or the job type it is. And so once she's able to meet the 70 points, she can then apply to come to the UK as a skilled worker. And then, of course, she will pay the fee. So usually if the certificate or the confirmation or sponsorship says that she's coming for a 3-year period, then she'll pay a fee of about 610 if it's a shortage occupation job, or if it's not a shortage occupation job, she will pay the £1,220 for the application fee, and then she has to pay the IHS as well for the 3-year period. If it's for more than 3 years, then of course the application fee will be a bit up, and then the IHS will also be paid. But you have people who are EA nationals who get the fee at a reduced price because they are EA nationals.
Yeah. No, pardon me if I didn't mention the name right. He's saying, I'm a widow with one son. I want to live and work in the UK. How do I go about it?
Okay, so he didn't really say where he is, but I'm hoping that if he's able to show that he's somebody who can work, then of course, I would say to him, try and look at your skill level. So if you are somebody who is, let's say, a mechanic who is good with doing cars, and you've done courses to be able to even start up your own business as a mechanic, then go on to the .gov.uk website, see and look at jobs, or should I say employers? First of all, it has to be employers. So an employer who is a licensed sponsor. If you look on their website and they have any jobs of being offered to mechanics outside of the UK, then please, you can make an application for the job. If you are being offered the job, that's a good thing, because then that means that you can get that certificate or sponsorship. But it's not easy. Usually it's who you know. So sometimes you've heard that there's this job going, and then somebody tells you, oh, apply, because you know that this specific employer is somebody who is a sponsor or a licensed sponsor under the UK VI list. So if you have somebody who is very, should I say, much on the inside, then you can go ahead and do this. But if not, then it means that you have to go through the Home Office or the UK VI list of licensed sponsors, and they have thousands. They have over 34,000 employers on that website. So just going through that alone is a bit of a tedious job. So sometimes it helps when you have somebody on the inside to be able to show you and direct you, okay, there's this job going here and here. So why don't you try looking here? And if you get it, then that means that you have that certificate of sponsorship that will be granted to you. It's not easy looking for a job. Anybody even here in the UK would know that when you're looking for a job, it is hard work. So I think that you should have a spirit of patience. You should be willing to endure when you're going through this process. And if you are, should I say, blessed enough to find a job and they give you that certificate of sponsorship, then of course any other thing will fall into place. So you will do the English speaking and listening, and if you get a level B1, they will provide you with a certificate that you meet the required English language level. And then also, if you are able to show that, before I was saying that once you come, you have to be able to look after yourself before your first month's pay. So if you are able to show through your bank statement that as much as possible you have £1,270 in your account before your first pay comes in, then that means that, of course, that is also settled. And once you are able to get a job, usually those employers will know what the home office salary levels are. So they will know whether you meet the salary level in the first place, because there are certain thresholds that need to be met. And so they themselves will be able to offer you a job at the salary level that, of course, will make you meet the 70 points needed to be able to also make the application. So yes, depending on what skill he has, he can make an application to a specific employer who is a licensed sponsor. So they have to be a licensed sponsor, and he has to be able to get that certificate of sponsorship from that company to be able to then meet the English language level. And then once he's even applied for the job, that means that he's able to meet the appropriate skill level, and that's why they're even offering him the job in the first place. And then all other things should fall into place.
Okay. Lastly, this question from Jumoke, she says, I came to the UK not long ago as a chef. I would like to apply for my husband and 2 children who are 10 and 13 years old to join me in the UK. How do I go about it, and what would I need?
Okay, so of course, if she wants her children to come and join her, that would mean that, of course, she would need to make the application showing that the children are her children, so birth certificates. And then she will also need to show that once the children also come, obviously they will be appropriately accommodated as well. So her job that she has will give her the required salary that she needs. So there isn't any, should I say, maintenance to show for the children, because she's working here in the UK. So as long as she's able to show that the children are her children and that she is responsible for them, so she's the sole person who is responsible for the children. So without her, unfortunately, the children would not be able to be cared for appropriately, because she is their main carer and there's nobody else to, of course, care for them and the rest of it. Then, of course, she can make the application to let her 2 children come and join her here in the UK. The application fee is a small fee. I think it's just over £200 for each applicant child. So there isn't much that she would need to pay in terms of the application fee, but she would definitely need to pay the immigration health surcharge. And for children, it's not as high as 624. It's slightly lower, which is about £470 a year. So she will need to pay the IHS for each of the children, because they will grant the children the same leave that she has. So if she has 3 years, then they'll grant the children 3 years, and then she'll need to pay for their IHS fees as well. So yes, she can make the application for her children who are dependents to join her, as long as they are also under the age of 18. Unfortunately, if they are 18 and above, they will not be seen or viewed as children unless they can show that they are completely dependent on the parent. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're not living independent lives.
Yes. Note, if you could give us your last words and any details, anyone watching us who wants to contact you, to book an appointment, come and see you.
Very quickly, somebody asked a question on our Facebook page. It says, if I may ask, could you explain this for us? A person living and working in the UK wants to sponsor one of their siblings who is living in Africa to come and visit them in the UK. Can the person living in the UK make the visa application on their behalf as a visitor? And if so, how would they go about it? Can they use their supporting documents as a sponsor to be submitted in the UK? So in this application, like I was saying, I think it was 2 weeks ago that we're doing visit visa applications. And I was mentioning the fact that anybody can write a letter of invitation and say that they have somebody who would like to come and visit them in the UK. And so in this person's case, if they are here in the UK and they want to invite somebody else, they can write a sponsorship letter or an undertaking letter to say, Mr. So-and-so would like to come and visit me for 2 weeks. Maybe I have a naming ceremony and he would like to come and see the baby, and I would like to offer him a place to stay whilst he's here. And of course, I would sponsor his trip so I earn enough money to be able to look after myself and my family and Mr. So-and-so who is coming to live for the next 2 weeks. When it comes to visit applications, most of the documentation has to do with the person who is outside of the UK, because they want to be able to see that the person who is out of the UK is a genuine visitor. And so they are able to show that they have a genuine intention. So they are not coming here to make the UK their permanent home. They're not going to be frequently visiting the UK. They are people who have not breached any immigration rules whatsoever. So as long as they're able to show that they are coming for a genuine intention, and most of the time it will have to do with the person's commitments back home. So if they are able to show their commitments and circumstances back home and show that, for instance, because of their family, so their wife, children, business, other commitments, maybe with other associations and church and whatever, then of course they can make the application to come and stay here, I mean, for that 2 week period or 3 week period or whatever period. But the onus is on the person who is coming, not more so the person who is here in the UK. The person who is here in the UK, yes, you can say you are going to give them a place to stay. You can say that you're going to give your bank statements to show that you have enough money to maintain them. But most of the documentation has to be with the person who is outside of the UK. What can they show to show the immigration officer that they are a genuine visitor and that they will not come and stay in the UK? So yes, in terms of that question, the onus is more on the person who is coming. So on my on this final note, I would like to say, of course, we are doing this for the benefit of our viewers, and it's most of the questions that they come up with is what really sponsors this program, because they are the ones who are the beneficiaries. So most of what we do is to create awareness and to make people more aware of the routes that are available under the law and how they can go about making these applications to be successful at them as well. And so we don't just deal with immigration law as a way of practice. We also deal with issues such as child arrangement orders, where children who are coming from homes where the parents have broken up would need to spend time with either parent. So you have child arrangement orders. We also deal with family matters such as divorce, or where there have been assets, or should I say properties, among the two, financial orders for couples that are breaking up. And then we also deal with social issues as well, where people may have issues with their landlords, or they may have issues trying to get public benefits and the rest of it. We also deal with issues like that. So yes, we do not just deal with just immigration issues. We also deal with other matters as well. And if anybody after this program wants to seek our legal assistance, or wants to be somebody who would want us to make an application on their behalf, please do not hesitate to contact myself and on 075 3581 3910. So 075 3581 3910. And our offices are situated in London. So the address is the 4th floor of Anna House, 214 to 218 Tottenham High Road, London. And the postcode is N15 4NP. So N15 4NP. During office hours from 9:30 to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. Our office number is 0208 493 7340. So 0208 493 7340. So yes, please. I know that most of us will have a nice weekend, and I expect that the rest of us will have a good week ahead as well.
Oh, that's beautifully said. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you are. We've come to the end of the legal hour with BWF Solicitors. Until we meet again next week, same time, take care of yourself, and goodbye. See you later. Bye. Oh, we are still on.
I think we should come up with a theme.
BWF Solicitors, we take pride in our client service. As a niche law practice, we are conscious of the demands of our clients. We always offer a friendly, listening ear, and sympathetic attitude. We've worked with thousands of people all across the UK in all areas of personal legal services. We have received great feedback and reviews from our clients. We are located at 7 Sisters in Tottenham, on the 4th floor of the Anna House, right on top of the Victoria Line train station, for your utmost convenience. We have a friendly office and provide all of the refreshments necessary while you wait to see a lawyer. We're dedicated to our clients and have a successful record of serving our clients. Solicitors of England and Wales are of high quality and are bound by the highest professional standards. We are officers of the court and are bound by standards of integrity, competence, and conduct as part of our responsibility to uphold the rule of law. Our solicitors and lawyers care about your case and are committed to providing the best possible service to you in the most considerate and careful manner. We hold 2 Law Society quality marks. Law Society accreditation helps to demonstrate that we have attained the requisite standard in the area of law and have the requisite expertise. We are solicitors and are here to help you with your legal services when you need us.